So now if you look at the left side, the big thing to highlight here is look how few competitors are in here. There's maybe 4 or 5 versus like the tens of competitors that you have in the file and folder space. So this is really quite a phenomenal offering. We've literally more than doubled our addressable market at a ninja price point that's going to disrupt all the offers that the competition has out there. If anyone could get 250 gigs of cloud space and a ServerSave licenses to run image-based backup and exchange granular recovery for less than $60 a month, love to hear it. And you can get as low as $35, $40 a month. Talk to our partner specialists. We have a number of programs out there that are designed for the various sizes of partners that we serve today. So it's important that you talk to them because they're going to be able to evaluate specifically for you what program would fit best. There's a lot of the competitors out there, they just have kind of a one-size-fits-all partner program, and that's not good for a partner program because you want your partners to be successful. And we don't want to misplace our partners into something that they can't live up to or something that's simply too small for them. So we want to make sure that we're picking the appropriate program for you. I got a question here. Does the software work with Microsoft SBS 2011? We're working on it as we speak. So 2011 is not yet made all the way through testing and QA. So we will be there. It's just the release point and then the support for that is coming. I'll do that if you just install it and try to go to town. It'd probably work for the most part, but we like to be thorough in our QA. So now I'm going to open up the product demo and go through this section. So if you have any questions while I'm loading this up, feel free to enter them now. So I'm actually going to open up a remote session onto an SBS, or not SBS, a Windows 2008 box R2, so that I can show you what image creator and exchange granular recovery actually looks like. I have a question from Craig. How do you compare to Aperture? Craig, I'm sure you're going to be more familiar with Aperture than I am. What kind of service is Aperture giving you? What kind of price point? Generally, we're at a higher, or our functionality is the same, if not way better, at a much lower price point. Okay. So we have here our ServerSave client that's launched. And we have a couple, and while Craig's giving me some more details, I'll go through this. I'm going to try to get through this demo pretty quickly. I know we've gone over time a little bit. That way we can get into more Q&A hereafter and get you guys out of here. So set up backup. And for those of you who have to leave, remember, go to our main website, sosonlinebackup.com, and then the number to get to our partner specialist team is right here at the top right, 877-896-3611, with extension 1, and our partner specialist will be able to help you out. Okay, so we continue through a demo. So we have the Applications tab and the Setup Backup tab. So Setup Backup is more for a use-based scenario. So are you on a laptop or PC, file server, application or database server, or Exchange or SBS server? And based on what you select, it will give you options to do either a file and folder backup or a bare metal image backup. For this, I'm just going to go through based on the application. So we have Online Backup and Recovery, which is our flagship product. This is the file folder online backup program. It also has a local file backup built into it, but primarily it's the online file and folder backup solution. This is going to be installed on your workstations, and then you'd probably use ImageStream and everything else for any type of server environment. Bare Metal Image Creator. This is, again, part of the new technology, SOS ServerSave. So this is actually going to let us create an image backup job and schedule. Exchange Granular Recovery. So if we are recovering volumes that have Exchange servers on them or Exchange server, this will let you dig into that Exchange server and recover or export what you want. Management Agent. This is the Pulse Management Agent. So this is going to install Pulse at the location that we're on right now. And then Bare Metal Image Stream. This is what's actually going to be used to take the images that are created off-site. So Bare Metal Image Creator, let's go ahead and just go through and create an image. I'm going to go through and make sure I don't, because I'm going to replicate the job, so I'm going to just delete that and create a new one. So I come to the wizard and I hit backup, and then it's going to ask me to select a volume that I like to back up, or all the volumes. Well, for this demo, I'm just going to select this sample 5 gig Exchange volume, as realistic as that is, just for the sake to show that we're going to actually run it. So hit next. Now it's going to ask me to select a destination for this backup. So I can select a network location if I like, or define a new network location here. For demo purposes, I'm just going to go to this virtual drive, letter F. Hit next. So typically what the use case would be, you would select a staging machine. So we're going to be backing up the images locally first, and then we're going to go off-site from a staging machine. The staging machine, for those of you who have been late, are going to be, a Windows 7 box with 8 gigs of RAM, something like that. You don't have to buy a really expensive, overpriced piece of hardware with our name on it anymore. So staging machine is really up to you to configure. It just needs to be Windows. So you run the backup there. You can either run the backup one time, an hour later. Typically, you're set up on a weekly backup schedule. So say Sundays, kick it off at 8 a.m. And then Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., we're going to run an incremental backup every 60 minutes. So this gives us a restore point objective of 60 minutes. So if we want to take our RPO down, we just hit it down here. Now, the viability of changing your RPO is going to vary environment to environment. It's just something you're going to have to evaluate and see it case by case. But generally, the more you run incrementals, the more quickly the incrementals are going to run. And it's really great because our system is also running. It's kind of what Craig was asking earlier about, or Mitch, who's now left, about the SQL databases that are changing so regularly and how do you back those up. We have a transaction consistent image-based backup solution here, which is really what you need to have in place to run backups like this. If you have a crash consistent backup, you really just have to wait until the end of the day so you can shut down your backup. Is everyone familiar with, anyone want a quick run through of crash consistent versus transaction consistent backups? So it'll finish the transaction, pause, snapshot happens, then it continues. And all this happens in a matter of milliseconds. So this isn't slowing down your database at all. It's just ensuring that if you're running a backup of an open database, that you're going to get everything you need and not just partial information, which could be very bad. So that's important to note if you are running with a transaction or a crash consistent backup. Ours is transaction consistent. All right, hope that's clear. So you would run this and say, okay, great, we have a 30-minute RPO at this point. Next, compression. So you have hot, none, standard, or high. If you're going off-site with the image, which I'm assuming most of you are, our image stream client is going to create, or is going to compress and encrypt the data already. So you don't really need to do this. And as far as encryption is concerned, you don't need to do this either. If I check this off and go to advanced, it'll ask me, okay, what level of encryption? Again, image stream is going to compress the data as much as it can possibly compress, and then it's going to encrypt it at 256-bit AES once it's compressed. So it's not recommended that you encrypt your backups to the staging machine before they go off-site to our service, because image stream is already going to do that. While we're in the advanced section, I also have these commands where I can do pre-snapshot, post-snapshot, and post-backup scripts or batch files. So that's really nice if you wanted to reset or restart anything. So that's nice. And then also the retention period. So it's based on the set that we defined earlier being a weekly set. And you can say, okay, we'll delete the incremental backup images if they're 3 weeks old or older. And that's nice to do. So I'll take away the encryption. Split image file, again, this is somewhat of a dated option. For your existing partners, we actually should recommend doing this. But it's just a way to split the image into workable chunks. So if you have limited media devices they're going to write this to, then you would do that. For the most part, this isn't needed any longer. We get our summary, we hit finish, and now it's going to run based on the schedule. If I go to our backup jobs tab and just hit execute now, it'll go ahead and run and give us a status bar here.